Hey there, viewers, it's Charlie. I'm back again with another Transformers review. And today's review is going to be on Legacy Velocitron Speedia 500 Collection Cybertron Override. Now, along with Armada Starscream and Cybertron Metroplex, Override is one of the few Unicron Trilogy representatives in Legacy so far. I mean, there is a rumor that Hotshot's going to be in the Velocitron subline next year, but so far we don't know if it's going to be the Armada version, the Cybertron version, or another version of Hotshot. But currently, it's Armada Starscream, Cybertron Override, and Cybertron Metroplex. Now, taking a quick look at the packaging, it's pretty much the same that we saw with Hola. So yeah, the Velocitron collection boxes pretty much pay tribute to the G1 boxes. So the character is packaged in their vehicle mode. You can still see the twisty ties where I cut the figure out. You can see Override in her robot mode, in her vehicle mode, or Head's vehicle mode if you go by the Japanese canon. Got her vehicle mode again. Cybertron Universe Override, keep that in mind. This side just got the Velocitron symbol, which makes sense. She was the leader of the planet in Cybertron. This side we just got a picture of Override again. The back we have her in both modes. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the box. And taking a look at the figure, well, it's an entirely new mold. I mean, seriously, this is surprising. I mean, with the Netflix line, which is the precursor to the Velocitron line, the closest we got to new molds were Bumblebee and Soundwave, because they were heavy retools of pre-existing molds. But with the Velocitron line, we've got Override here, who's an entirely new mold, and we also have Cosmos, who's an entirely new mold. Now, granted, there are pictures that show that Override was going to be a retool of Studio Series Hot Rod, but yeah, that seems that didn't come to fruition. Like I've been speaking. To be honest, I'm quite glad that it didn't, because seriously, this is really, really accurate to the show. I mean, if anything, the show was accurate to the toy, as are all the Cybertron characters. But seriously, if you had like the original figure and then the legacy figure, they would be really, really similar, if not identical. Well, not fully identical, but really similar. Of course, I don't have the original Override, but seriously, they went out of their way to make sure this is as close to the original animation model, well, CGI model, and the original toy as they could. And I gotta commend them for that. That is amazing. I mean, seriously, they've captured all the details, like the visible head, which was there on the original, so no need. I mean, sure, visible head syndrome, but that was there on the CGI model, from what I can remember. So it is technically accurate. Of course, we've got the little boosters. So if you want, you can plug in some blast effects to make it look like she's going fast. You can plug some into here if you want. I suppose if you want, although it's a bit loose. The wheels are pinned in instead of pegged in, which is amazing. It's got the windshield here in that translucent red. Underneath, you can sort of see the arms, but yeah, it's not that big a deal for me. So yeah, this vehicle mode is just amazing. the fact that it's just so accurate to the original character, and it makes me wonder how it would look if it was just a Studio Series Hot Rod retool. Probably still look accurate, but a bit more G1ified, kind of like the Prime characters. I don't know. So, yeah. Now, even though I don't have the original override, here she is with Dirt Boss. So you can see how she looks with an original Velocitron Cybertron figure. And I wonder how Dirt Boss would look as a modern figure, as a new mold, not just a retool of a pre-existing character. Like, if they went out of their way to make a new Dirt Boss, which, yeah, let's be honest, I don't think they're ever going to do that. But if they ever did, I wonder how they would actually do that. But let's be honest, I'm pretty sure they would most likely just do Ransack and Crumple Zone first, which I actually do hope they at least do seriously, yeah, this figure is just so amazing that I'm at a loss for words. And I do hope we get some more of the Cybertron Velocitron guys, like Ransack, Crumble Zone, as I was trying to say before I started stuttering like a moron. Dirt Boss, which is what I'm sort of hoping for. Clocker, Breakdown, and maybe Lugnuts, because, yeah, the original Lugnuts figure wasn't really the greatest. So I do hope we get some more of the Cybertron, Velocitron characters in this new Speedia 500 collection. And with that, like, Hot Shots rumor, if it's Cybertron Hotshot, then there could be potential for an Excellion, so who knows? But that's enough random stuttering, just because I can't even speak correctly. Let's just move on to the transformation. Now, with the original Override figure, most of the transformation just happened in one step. Like, you just press a button and most of the figure would just spring off for you. Well, with the Legacy figure, that doesn't happen. It's all a manual transformation now. So to start, we're just going to remove the weapon, because that was on the original. So yeah, parts forming, but it is weapons parts forming, and it was on the original, so they are just trying to pay tribute to that. But let's just transform the weapon first. So, once again, on the original, you would plug in a cyber key, and it would flip out the guns, but of course, that's not on this version, so you just flip out the guns manually. Yeah, I do kind of miss the rapid deploy action that the old figure had, but oh well. You just set that off to the side. So now you're left with this. So to start, we're just going to unpack the front of the car. Move that forward and just tap that in. Move that around. Get the feet out. Rotate these around. These will tab in and pretty much close the back. Like so. Now this is definitely the automated bit on the original. Flip out the wheels in the back, showing the arms. Flip around the fists. Flip this entire section around, flip this down, flip down the windshield, and that shows her face. Rotate this, and you want to try and slide that in. It's on a little slider rail joint, and you want to try and get that tabbed into there. Just trying to do that off camera. It's kind of a complicated step, actually. So you pretty much have that. So yeah, second verse, much like a more famous Transformers reviewer says, much like the first. So you want to just try and rotate that, slide that in, try and get these little tabs in, and see how I'm on camera. The forces of nature are going to be against me here. But once you get it, that should be override in her robot mode. And seriously, that's a transformation I have not seen a transformation like that before. I mean, it's really based on like how she transforms on the transformation sequence in the show, if I remember. But seriously, that is, compared to the other transformations in Legacy, that's definitely one of the more crazy ones. Especially seeing how Legacy seems to have much more unique transformations than the other toy lines. Or at least, seriously, Legacy's transformations have been quite more intricate, it feels like. Now, of course, we can give her gun, but first of all, let's have a quick 360 if my camera will not droop, because my Lego stand is just crappy because I'm not good at reviewing figures. But while having a 360, once again, really show accurate. Really clean back, so of course, well, I would say Hasbro can do female Transformers with clean backpacks, but she was male in the Japanese show, so yeah, take it out what you will. But yeah, clean back, which is amazing. Taking a look at her head. Now, one thing I've noticed is the back of her head is translucent, so there could be potential for light piping, but the eyes look to be painted over. Why are we still doing this, Hasbro? It's like they planned light piping at one point and then they just changed their mind, but they already had it sculpted and decide that they don't want to re-sculpt it to remove the light piping or something. I don't know. But yeah. Aside from that, the head looks really good. Now, giving her the weapon. Now, that looks really, really good. And of course, this is Blast Effect compatible, which for this being a new mold is actually really stunning, because Legacy's Blast Effect compatibility seems to be 50-50. Plus, you also do get the ports in the feet, so if you have some weaponizers lying around, or if you just have some more blast effects. So yeah. Overall, I'm quite stunned with how she looks. Although, it is a Voyager class. And well, she is kind of shorter than Hola here. So, if anything, I'm pretty sure she's going for the deluxe at a Voyager price point that Hot Rod was going for, which makes sense. She was initially going for to be a Hot Rod retool, but well, once you have her next to some of the other deluxes, she's actually quite taller. Well, then you have her with some of the deluxes from the olden days, like, again, Dirt Boss. So, if anything, she's more the size of an older deluxe. Before they started shrinking everything. Back when leaders were not just Voyager Plus. So I don't see this as a deluxe at a Voyager price point. I more see this as a deluxe how they used to be. I mean, granted, she still has the deluxe. Well, she still has the Voyager price point, but seeing how she's like the same height as Dirt Boss, I don't really mind because it's kind of a throwback to how deluxes used to be sized back in the Cybertron days. I mean, seriously. These two are both deluxe class, keep in mind. And then look at Override. She may be a Voyager class, but she's technically still a deluxe class at a Voyager price point, if you will. You might not think that, but you know what? Let's just move on. If anything, her budget has actually let her be way better than she would have been if she was just a standard deluxe or a standard Voyager, you know, because seriously, that transformation, remember? If she was just a retool of Hot Rod, that probably wouldn't have been the case. So I'm glad she's a new mold. Now, for the articulation, of course, the head can move side to side. Can't really look up, unfortunately. Of course, her arms can move. She can T-pose. She's got a bicep rotation. She's got elbows. Her hands can swivel. Her waist can swivel, but it's kind of hindered by this back bit. Legs can go forward that far, back not that far. She's got a really good knee joint. This can swivel. She can do the splits. Slight ankle pivot, and her feet can slightly move. So yeah, quite posable. So, yeah. If Override has turned out this good, I want to see what they're going to do for like future Unicron trilogy characters. Like, I want to see how they would do the other Velocitron guys like this. Well, the other Cybertron Velocitron guys like Dirt Boss and Crumples and Ransack, for example. So, yeah. Complaints? I mean, the light piping, I mean, that's an issue a lot of figures have, so that's minor. Another issue could be, these bits in the transformation can be kind of fiddly. But once you do it, it's fine. Although the tabs could potentially break off, who knows. But well, do I recommend this figure? Well, come on, of course I recommend this figure. Especially if you're a huge fan of Transformers Cybertron. I mean, I'm going to go out of my way and say this is one of the best figures that we've had in recent years. I mean, seriously, this is just really, really good. I mean, it's accurate to the show. The transformation is amazing. Seriously, this is just... I could just sit here and list off every synonym for amazing, but yeah, that would just be boring, so let's just end it here. But yeah, this is an amazing figure, and whether or not you're a fan of Transformers Cybertron, I definitely do recommend this figure, because you could just repurpose this as like Beast Wars Uprising or IDW Override if you wanted to. But well, this has been my review on Legacy Velocitron Collection Override, and this is Charlie Young, signing off.